Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources on really fascinating subjects, and we just drill down. We get you the essential insights, those aha moments you need to really understand something. And our mission today, well, it's an in-depth look at an actor's career, someone whose success might feel, to a lot of people, like it happened overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But as we're going to unpack, it was built very methodically, role by careful role. We're talking prestige TV, huge movies, and some, frankly, unnerving character work over the last, decade or so.
Easily. Yeah.
We're diving deep into the world, the work, and the recent huge win for Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, if you were trying to define that modern character actor archetype.
This person who just elevates everything they're in.
That's him. Plemons would be, kind of the textbook example. He was born April 2nd, 1988, Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And the resume he's already racked up, it's pretty staggering. We're talking nominations for an Academy Award, 3 Primetime Emmys, a BAFTA nod.
It's not just flashing success, right? It's consistent quality, recognized at the highest levels.
Exactly. Consistent excellence.
And the timing for this deep dive, it feels really critical, doesn't it? Because he just had this massive career peak.
Oh, absolutely. Just now, 2024, winning the Best Actor Award at the Cannes Film Festival.
Well, Pines of Kindness, the Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Right, which is, that's a huge international stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Artistically speaking.
And that comes right after his Oscar nomination back in 2022 for The Power of the Dog.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole trajectory, from this kid in a small Texas town to being crowned, essentially, the King of Cannes.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to unpack for you.
And I think what makes Plemons so distinctive right off the bat is this very specific style he has. It almost feels accidental sometimes.
How so?
Well, the sources always point this out. He gets typecast a lot.
Yeah.
As the quiet guy. Sometimes unassuming, but often deeply unnerving.
Yeah, that quiet intensity.
And that signature style, it's tied directly to his roots. You hear the Texas accent, obviously. There's this sort of grounded, almost cowboyish persona. But maybe the most important part, his use of pauses, comedic pauses.
He really does weaponize silence, doesn't he?
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
It's like his presence just suggests all this tension boiling right on the surface, even when he seems calm.
That's the key, I think, that contrast. He looks, pretty normal, maybe even benign sometimes. And then, bam, absolute menace.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's dig into this from the start. Because that grounded thing, that stillness you mentioned, it definitely seems rooted in how he grew up.
Right. So born in Dallas, like I said, but he didn't stay there long. He was raised in Mart, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Mart is, it's a very small town. Population just over 2,000 people. It's about 21 miles east of Waco.
Okay, so definitely not Hollywood adjacent.
Not at all. This context feels really important. He grew up in a place focused on, community, high school sports, hard work, not show business.
And the family background kind of backs that up too, right?
Yeah.
Very practical, not stage parents.
Solely. He's the younger of 2 kids. His dad, Jim Bob Plemons, was a firefighter. And, interestingly, also an amateur rodeo competitor.
Rodeo, wow, okay.
Yeah. And his mom, Lisa Plemons, she was a special education trainer.
So you've got this foundation of public service on one hand and this rural competitive thing on the other.
Mm-hmm. That definitely seems like it would contribute to that sort of down-to-earth quality he has on screen.
It must ground him. But okay, despite all the small town stuff, the acting bug bit really, really early.
Incredibly early.
Mm-hmm.
His career technically kicked off in 1991. He was just 3 years old.
3? Doing what?
A Coca-Cola commercial.
Ha! Classic.
Right. And by the time he was 8, he was already doing extra work, and his family was supportive enough to start taking him out to L.A. for auditions.
Wow, at 8. That's commitment from everyone involved.
It really is. This wasn't just some after-school hobby. It was treated like a potential career path, pretty much from elementary school.
That kind of early start, especially being from a small town in Texas, it must create some serious logistical challenges, especially with school. And you mentioned sports earlier.
Oh, yeah. The sources are clear. He was a dedicated football player. Middle school, junior high, and then at Mart High School.
And Texas high school football is, it's a religion, basically.
Exactly. So he was deep in that world. But the acting kept pulling him away. Eventually, the conflict just became too much. As the acting jobs picked up, especially around 2006, he had to make a call.
So how did he finish school?
He ended up getting his high school diploma in 2007 through a distance learning program, the Texas Tech University Independent School District.
Okay, so he essentially chose acting over the traditional high school path, left The football team, the regular classes.
Yeah, think about that focus for a teenager. To consciously sacrifice that whole social experience in sports to chase acting full-time. That shows serious drive.
And if you look at the roles he was getting back then, before the really big break, it's kind of a time
It
capsule.
really is.
Oh,
Late 90s, early 2000s stuff. He popped up in Varsity Blues in 99.
makes sense, the football connection.
Right, and All the Pretty Horses in 2000. But then he was also doing guest spots on TV shows that were huge at the time,
Like,
like Walker, Texas Ranger.
of course, Texas royalty.
And, maybe the weirdest contrast, Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Wow, okay, Walker and Sabrina. That's strange, I guess.
Even back then, yeah. Texas action hero stuff. Then this stylized teen fantasy show.
Mm.
His first sort of prominent movie role was in a film called Children on Their Birthdays in 2002. And he kept plugging away with TV guest roles. Important stuff for learning the ropes, you know.
Yeah.
Judging Amy, CSI, even Grey's Anatomy back in 2006.
Right, so this wasn't an overnight thing at all. He'd put in, what, nearly 15 years of work before he landed the role that really changed things for him?
Exactly. It was a long apprenticeship, learning the craft, learning how sets work, building those foundational skills.
That kind of long grind seems really common for character actors, doesn't it? They don't just explode, they build, they accumulate.
Absolutely. And all those skills, all that experience, was about to get a major spotlight when he landed a role that ironically took him right back to Texas football. And that breakthrough, of course, was Landry Clark in Friday Night Lights.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
Can't lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2006, he's 18 years old, joins the cast of this incredible NBC drama, filmed in Austin, set in fictional Dillon, Texas. He ended up doing 59 episodes, really became part of the fabric of that show.
And Landry, especially in that first season, he was perfect. He was the comic relief, right?
Totally. He was the outsider.
Yeah.
Sweet, kind of nerdy, definitely not a football player. Best friend to Matt Saracen, the quarterback.
He grounded all the high-stakes football drama, provided that necessary contrast, the witty commentary from the sidelines.
It was such a great performance. But here's a fantastic little insight from behind the scenes that the sources mention. For you, the listener, this is gold. Apparently, the running joke on the Friday Night Lights set, among the cast, the crew, everybody, was that Jesse Plemons, playing the non-athlete, could actually play football way better than most of the actors whose characters were supposed to be the stars of the team.
No way. That's hilarious. So he's the guy who actually knows how to play, having to pretend he doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had the actual high school football background. He knew the game instinctively in a way a lot of the others maybe didn't.
That must have been fun for him.
Well, and it definitely informed his commitment later on, because the story took a turn, right?
Yeah, Landry joins the team in season 2, which felt kind of out of nowhere, but worked.
It did. And when that happened, Plemons, drawing on his own playing days, insisted on doing all his own stunts during the football scenes.
Okay, now that's commitment. And that leads to a pretty famous story from the set, doesn't it? About his dedication getting a little too real.
It really does speak volumes. The sources detail this one scene, his first big football scene as a Panther. The direction was basically that Landry was supposed to, and I'm quoting here, get the crap beat out of him over and over and over again.
Ouch. Sounds about right for Landry's first foray onto the field.
So during one of these really intense takes, he gets hit hard by Taylor Kitsch, who played Tim Riggins.
Riggins hitting Landry. Yeah, that tracks.
And the hit was real enough that it split Plemons' chin wide open. He needed 11 stitches.
11 stitches for a TV show scene. Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't fake blood that time. That was the actual physical price of him wanting to make it look authentic, putting his body on the line.
That's more than just acting. That's, like you said, real commitment. But going through something like that intensity, it probably builds strong bonds, too.
It definitely seemed to forge some lasting professional connections. After Friday Night Lights wrapped up in 2011, Plemons worked with Taylor Kitsch again pretty quickly, and also with Peter Berg, the show's creator. They all did the movie Battleship together in 2012.
Right, I remember that.
But what's really fascinating is why Peter Berg brought Plemons onto that film. Berg actually said he wrote the part for Plemons specifically as, get this, protection for Taylor Kitsch.
Protection? That sounds weird. What did he mean by that? Like a bodyguard?
Huh. No, not literally. It speaks more to Plemons' effect on other actors. Berg's quote was, "I know that he's really good for Taylor and he makes Taylor better." Berg saw bringing Plemons in as like bringing in a trusted family member, someone who grounds the scene, supports the lead actor.
Wow. That's an incredible compliment from a director like Peter Berg, to be seen as the guy who makes the star better.
It's huge. It tells you that early on, Plemons wasn't just seen as talented, but as this vital piece of the puzzle. Someone who brings stability, enhances chemistry, lifts the whole production.
That's a reputation you want. The anchor, the guy who makes everyone else look good.
And that reputation, that grounded presence, was about to become the perfect setup for a massive shift in his career. He's about to go from Landry Clark, the lovable best friend, to something much, much darker. Yeah, the shift was incredibly fast and really effective. Right after The Warmth of Friday Night Lights, he takes on probably one of the most chilling roles in recent TV history.
Todd Alquist, Breaking Bad.
Conquest. Joined in the final season, 2012-2013, started recurring in the first half, season 5A, then got bumped up to a series regular for the final stretch, 5B.
And Todd, man, he is maybe the ultimate example of that Plemons signature we talked about, that quiet menace.
Absolutely. He was so polite, almost unfailingly polite, and completely calm, but underneath, just a total sociopath.
No shouting, no big dramatic villain moments, just dead eyes. A very business-like approach to horrific violence.
Then, like killing someone 1 minute, then casually ask him about what's for dinner the next. It was terrifying.
That performance just locked in his ability to play that specific kind of quiet evil.
And it stuck, too. He came back to play Todd again years later in the El Camino movie in 2019.
Right. But it was that initial Breaking Bad run that really blew people away, and it led to, well, it led to the nickname.
Yes, the nickname, Meth Damon.
Okay, let's talk about that. Because on one hand, it's kind of funny acknowledging the resemblance to Matt Damon. But on the other hand, he's just delivered this incredible nuanced performance, and suddenly he's defined by looking like another, more established star. Did that bother him?
He definitely talked about it. But here's the kicker, the really great deep dive detail that the sources highlight. The nickname came about purely because of the physical resemblance to Matt Damon during Breaking Bad. But the irony, Plemons had already played a younger version of Matt Damon's character way back in 2000.
You know, all the pretty horses.
Exactly, when Plemons was only 12 years old. So that resemblance was actually part of his professional life long before anyone called him Meth Damon.
That's wild. So a thing that got him cast as a kid becomes this slightly insulting fan nickname years later.
Perfect symmetry, isn't it? And the good news is, the nickname seems to have faded.
Yeah.
Plemons himself mentioned around 2021, he thought, that fewer and fewer people were calling him that. His own work, his own reputation, finally started to overshadow the easy comparison.
Which is great, because that period right after Breaking Bad, it wasn't just about Todd. He immediately started working with some absolute giants.
Oh yeah, it was like a masterclass in choosing collaborators. He jumped right into the world of series auteurs, had that supporting role in Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master in 2012.
Playing Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Right, and that comparison gets made a lot by critics, actually. That Plemons has some of that same incredible lived-in character actor weight that Hoffman had.
That's high praise. So he wasn't just getting gigs, he was getting roles that signaled, you know, this guy is a serious actor.
Precisely. And then he got into the Spielberg orbit. Appeared in Bridge of Spies in 2015, then The Post in 2017.
2 Spielbergs back-to-back, basically.
And then, crucially, he made the Scorsese connection. Played Chucky O'Brien in The Irishman in 2019. That wary, complicated performance.
These legendary directors, they obviously see something in him. What do you think it is?
It's that reliability, I think. That understated gravitas. He can anchor huge, complex films, sometimes with very little dialogue, just with his presence. He's the perfect sort of grounded counterweight to the bigger star performances around him.
He doesn't pull focus, but you always notice him.
Exactly. And he wasn't just doing historical dramas or these big auteur pieces either. His range during this time was incredible.
Right, he popped up everywhere.
All over the map, genre-wise. He did the dark comedy Game Night in 2018.
He was so good in that, The Creepy Neighbor.
Stole the show. Then you have serious stuff like playing the mobster Kevin Weeks in Black Mass in 2015. Thrillers like American Made with Tom Cruise in 2017. The Western Hostiles, also in 2017. He even narrated Adam McKay's Dick Cheney movie, Vice, in 2018.
It seems like the main thread is just quality. He picks good projects across the board.
He does. He's effective no matter what genre you put him in. Which brings us to another absolutely pivotal moment in this era, both for his career and personally.
The Fargo connection.
Fargo, Season 2, 2015. He joined the cast of that brilliant FX anthology series. He played Ed Blomquist, the sort of gentle, hapless butcher who gets swept up in some crazy stuff. Opposite Kirsten Dunst as his wife Peggy.
And that role got him his first major award nomination, right?
Yep. His first Primetime Emmy nomination. Outstanding supporting actor in a limited series or movie. Huge career boost.
Professionally, massive. But personally, maybe even bigger, because
Yeah.
that's where he met Kirsten Dunst.
That's right. The personal and professional paths cross right there on the snowy plains of Fargo.
But even as that phase was wrapping up, he squeezed in one more iconic TV performance that really showed off that unnerving side again.
Oh yeah, 2017, Black Mirror, the USS Callister episode.
Chilling. He played Robert Daly, the main character, this sort of sad sack tech guy who becomes an absolute tyrant in his own virtual reality Star Trek world.
It was universally acclaimed. Terrifying, because he took that quiet menace he does so well and just ramped it up into pure sadistic megalomania.
And the industry noticed that lead performance too, didn't they?
They did. Got him another Emmy nomination, but this time for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or Movie.
That's a big step. Not just supporting anymore. The industry was saying, okay, this guy can carry the whole show.
Exactly. It signaled he was ready for bigger, more central roles, which perfectly set the stage for the incredible run he's had more recently.
So the 2020s, this is where Plemons really transitions, isn't it? From being that highly respected, oh, that guy's great in everything, character actor, to being genuinely one of the most acclaimed leading men working today.
Absolutely. He fully embraced that leading man potential with Charlie Kaufman's film, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, back in 2020.
Which was a weird one, in a good way, very Kaufman-esque.
Totally.
Yeah.
Psychological drama, super strange, ambiguous. But Plemons was fantastic, and it got a ton of critical praise. It really required the audience to just sit with his performance, with the silence and the uncertainty. Got him a Gotham Award nomination for Best Actor.
But the real sort of mainstream prestige peak, the one that put him firmly on the Oscar map, came the next year, right?
2021, Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog.
Incredible film, neo-Western. He played George Burbank.
George, yeah. The quieter, more melancholic brother opposite Benedict Cumberbatch's really volatile, intense film.
It was such a subtle performance from Plemons. So much going on internally, and it earned him that Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor.
And the chemistry in that film, particularly between him and Kirsten Dunst, who played his wife, Rose, it's just remarkable.
They were already a couple in real life by then for several years.
Right. And you feel that history, but it's not romantic in the film. It's this simmering tension, this kind of shared, unspoken misery almost, their ability to convey that strained intimacy. It's phenomenal.
And that shared work led to a really iconic moment during the 2022 awards season.
Oh, yeah. Both Plemons and Kirsten Dunst nominated for Oscars for the same movie. Supporting actor for him, supporting actress for her.
That almost never happens for a couple, especially an unmarried couple at the time.
Extremely rare. It really cemented their status as this sort of quiet, powerhouse acting couple. Speaks volumes about their creative partnership.
And around this time, Plemons also started to move behind the camera a bit, didn't he? Taking on more control.
Yeah, in 2022, he starred in a noir thriller called Windfall. Played the wealthy tech CEO character.
Yeah.
But importantly, he also got his first producer credit on that film.
What does that signify usually when an actor starts producing?
Often it's about having more say in the material,
Right.
shaping the project from the beginning, ensuring the quality, maybe finding roles that really challenge them. It's a natural step for actors who reach that level of respect.
Makes sense. And meanwhile, he wasn't neglecting TV either, still picking really strong projects there.
Nope. Stayed very active in prestige TV. In 2023, he starred with Elizabeth Olsen in Love and Death.
The HBO Max true crime series about Candy Montgomery.
Right. Another really solid performance, another Emmy nomination for him. He just keeps maintaining this incredibly high bar across both film and television. It's impressive.
And then came another major reunion with a legendary director.
Back with Scorsese. After The Irishman, he took a key supporting role in Killers of the Flower Moon in 2023.
Playing Tom White, the FBI agent investigating the Osage murders.
Exactly. And again, you see Scorsese using him as that grounding force, the steady hand of authority and justice coming into this chaotic, dark situation. When Scorsese needs reliable gravitas, Plemons seems to be on the shortlist.
Okay, but the absolute peak, the thing that really prompted this whole deep dive today, it has to be Cannes 2024.
Without a doubt. Winning the Best Actor prize at Cannes, that's massive.
For Kinds of Kindness, the Yorgos Lanthimos film. Now, Lanthimos has a very distinct style.
Oh, very distinct. Highly stylized, absurdist, often really unsettling. And he relies on this very deadpan, almost emotionless delivery from his actors.
Which sounds perfect for Plemons, actually.
It's tailor-made for him.
Hmm?
He specializes in conveying complex stuff without big, expressive emoting. He fits right into that Lanthimos world.
And in Kinds of Kindness, it wasn't just one role, right? It's an anthology film.
Correct. He played 3 completely different characters, Robert, Daniel, and Andrew, each one requiring a different shade of that Lanthimos-style performance.
So the Cannes win wasn't just for one great performance, but for showcasing that versatility within a single, very demanding film.
Exactly. It's huge validation. He also got his first Golden Globe nomination for it. It just confirms his status now on the international stage as a master actor.
And that relationship with Lanthimos is continuing, isn't it?
It is. They're already set to work together again on a sci-fi comedy called Bugonia, expected in 2025.
When an actor clicks with an auteur like Lanthimos, who has such a strong vision, that usually means more interesting, challenging work is coming.
Absolutely. It places him right at the forefront of ambitious international filmmaking.
Okay, let's shift focus slightly back to the personal side.
Oh, yeah.
Because underpinning this incredible career arc seems to be a very grounded personal life, particularly his relationship with Kirsten Dunst.
Right. As we mentioned, they met on the set of Fargo back in 2015, started dating around March 2016, and things moved relatively quickly from there in terms of building a family.
They got engaged pretty fast, didn't they?
Yeah, less than a year later, January 2017, their first son was born in 2018, and their second son arrived in 2021.
And despite being this huge Hollywood couple, especially after the dual Oscar nominations in 2022, they seem to keep things very low-key.
Very low-key. They didn't actually get officially married until July 2022, and it was apparently very quiet. They seem really committed to protecting that private family core from all the Hollywood craziness.
It's an interesting contrast, right? They play these huge, often emotionally draining roles, but their public persona is quite reserved.
Mm-hmm. Which makes the other big aspect of his public story even more notable. The physical transformations he's undertaken for roles. This gets complicated.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because actors changing their bodies for roles,
Yeah.
it's often praised, but there's a cost.
There absolutely is. The first big one we know about was back in 2015 for the movie Black Mass, where he played the mobster Kevin Weeks. He deliberately gained about 45 pounds for that role.
Which at the time was probably seen as, peak dedication, method acting almost, reshaping yourself completely for the character.
Right. It gets framed as the ultimate commitment. But the physical and mental toll, that's often glossed over.
Until recently, maybe? Because Plemons has been quite open about it lately.
He has. In 2024, it became very noticeable that he had lost a significant amount of weight. He confirmed he'd lost over 50 pounds.
So a massive gain, then a massive loss. Basically 2 huge body transformations within less than a decade, driven by his career.
Exactly. And he attributed the weight loss to intermittent fasting and focusing on whole foods.
But what's really insightful here, I think, for understanding what actors go through is how he talked about that initial weight gain.
Yes, he expressed real regret about it.
Yeah.
He said flat out that gaining the weight for Black Mass did mess me up a bit.
Wow, that's quite candid.
It is. He even said later he wasn't sure he'd be willing to put on that kind of weight for a role again. That's rare honesty about the downsides, the health consequences, the psychological impact of these dramatic physical shifts for work.
And in today's climate, with so much talk about weight loss drugs, he even had to address that, right?
He did. There was so much speculation online, especially about celebrity weight loss, that he felt the need to explicitly deny using Ozempic or similar drugs for his transformation.
So the whole cycle, the deliberate gain for praise, the later regret, the significant loss, then having to fend off public speculation, it really paints a picture of the intense physical pressures actors are under.
It really does. It's a very human story. Underneath the glamour of the awards and the big movie roles, the actual physical cost of embodying these characters.
So looking forward, what does the future hold for Jesse Plemons? His upcoming project list seems to confirm he's absolutely at the top of the industry's wish list right now.
Oh, definitely. He's got this great mix of high art projects and big commercial stuff lined up.
Yeah.
Shows his appeal across the board.
He's sticking with prestige TV, too.
Yep. He's got a supporting role playing Roger Carlson in a Netflix political thriller miniseries called 0 Day that's coming in 2025. And nicely, it reunites him with Leslie Linka Glatter, who directed him in Love and Death. So there's that continuity.
Okay. But the one that probably jumps out for mainstream audiences, he's joining a massive franchise.
Right. Huge news. He's been cast as Plutarch Heavensbee in the next Hunger Games prequel.
Sunrise on the Reaping. Slated for 2026. Wow, Plutarch Heavensby. That's a significant role previously played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, actually.
Another interesting connection there. Yeah, it's a major part in a giant global franchise. It was a smart move, balancing the artistic cred from someone like Lanthimos with the massive visibility and commercial power of Hunger Games.
Keeps him in both worlds. And for fans of his darker side, there's good news, too.
Very good news. He's officially reprising his role as Captain Robert Daly from Black Mirror.
From USS Callister, they're doing a sequel.
Apparently so. It's for the upcoming 7th series of Black Mirror in an episode titled USS Callister Into Infinity, coming in 2025.
That's fantastic. That original performance was so memorable. The fact they're bringing it back says a lot.
It really does. And finally, just to round out the sheer quality of his collaborators, there's an upcoming film with Alejandro González Iñárritu.
Wow, another huge name. Birdman, The Revenant.
Exactly. The film's untitled, as far as we know, currently in post-production. But just look at that list he's worked with recently. Lanthimos, Scorsese, Kaufman, Campion, now Iñárritu.
Yeah. If you want to understand who's defining excellence in modern film acting, you have to be watching Jesse Plemons. #tag outro. So wrapping up this deep dive, what we really see is this incredibly clear picture of a career built on focus and, I think, a lot of determination. Jesse Plemons took those Texas roots, that discipline maybe learned from sports and those very early acting days, and used it to become Landry Clark, the heart and soul, the comic relief of Friday Night Lights, a character people absolutely loved.
Right. But that same grounding, that same foundation, allowed him to make that huge, risky pivot to become someone like Todd Alquist in Breaking Bad, establishing that unique signature, the politeness, masking something terrifying, which led, to the Meth Damon nickname for a while.
She transcended that.
He totally transcended it. And his current position, winning Best Actor at Cannes, being the go-to guy for Scorsese, for Lanthimos, it just shows the immense value of prioritizing really distinct, deep character work, maybe over just chasing conventional leading man roles.
And connecting this all back to you, the listener, what Plemons' career really underscores is the power of an actor willing to completely subvert expectations. He took that image people had of him from Friday Night Lights, soft, relatable Landry, and just flipped it on its head with Todd's dead-eyed horror. And then proves he could do everything in between across every genre.
Okay, so here's our final thought, something for you to really chew on after listening to all this. We've talked a lot about Plemons' most celebrated performances, right?
Yeah.
And so many of them rely on subtle internal things. That quietness, the pause, the slight shift in his eyes, the hint of the Texas accent. Really nuanced stuff.
Yeah, the internal work.
Exactly. And yet, we also talk about how he's been praised for these massive external physical transformations, gaining 45 pounds for Black Mass, losing over 50 pounds later, things that are incredibly visible.
Right, the internal versus the external.
So, the question to ponder is, what does it tell us about character acting right now? That an actor like Plemons is celebrated both for these incredibly subtle, internal, unnerving performances and for these huge, look-at-me physical changes. Is there a tension there? What's the real cost, or maybe the necessary price, of embodying a character so completely today, when that commitment pushes you to alter not just your inner state, but your entire physical being?
What does that dedication really demand? That's a great question.
Something for you to think about. Until next time on The Deep Dive.